Sorry about that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another topic of the week. It is Friday, and so, of course, that means it's topic of the week time. Apologize for the choppy beginning. It was a little weird and when it went live, but we're here now. So for this week's topic of the week, we're going to turn to the Budget of Sigmar review. So that's why I'm here and wearing my glasses and such, so I can actually see and turn and look at the screen in a few seconds when we review everything together. But before we do that, a couple of items on the preamble. So first things first, last week's topic of the week, Warhammer on YouTube. Oh my goodness, what an amazing response that got. That was great. So thank you to everybody who made a video, and there were some really, really great responses. Hooves, special shout out to Hooves, Merrick, and Doom and Darkness, who all made great ones, but also Scott R. and a lot of other people responded, and it was all fantastic. Those are all linked. That last week's video is, of course, linked down below, and all of those are linked on that video. There is just a wealth of good advice in there about what to do if you want to get started. And what I really loved about it, and why I think was really awesome. I mean, I'm always happy to see a lot of response videos, which is cool. But that's not what got me really excited. What got me really excited is I saw a lot of people talk about making channels or actually put some videos up. You know, Kieran came back and renamed his channel name and made some commitments of how he's going to participate. Stone Monk Gamer from the Mortal Realms podcast, who had been on Warhammer Weekly, did his first couple videos and set up his whole plan for the year, which I thought was totally awesome. Go check out all those channels. I will link some of those down below. For all the new channels that did a video I can find where they were sent to me, I will link them down below. If I miss somebody and you know that they basically started up because of that video or since then or very recently, shoot me the link and I'll add it to the description of the video. That way people can go check out all those new cool channels and see what they're doing down below, because I think that is the most exciting aspect. I love the idea of more people producing more content, because this was a big entry point for me into the hobby. You know, I played Warhammer for a long time, but it was always sort of just it was there and it was a thing I enjoyed doing. But getting involved in this community and becoming part of this thing that's so much bigger than just my small individual hobby with my friends was a major part of me really growing to love this and it being a big part of my life. And so the more people that are engaging means the more people who can find a content producer they love and identify with and can connect with and all that sort of thing. So it just grows our community and our hobby. So very excited about that. The other thing I want to mention in the preamble here is James didn't know it at the time. James from Star Mini Gaming didn't know it, but he jumped ahead of me in the line and he put up a new little topic of the week himself to put up response videos to, of why did you pick Warhammer? I will link James's video down below. And since I was going to do the Budget of Sigmar this week anyways, and hence not have an official topic to be responded to, because as I promised back at the beginning of the Budget of Sigmar, I would dedicate one topic of the week each month to it. That gives us not an off week, so people can still make response videos. And James committed to linking all of those videos in the description of his video, and I went ahead and added his video to the topic of the week playlist on my channel. So you can still find it there, and you'll still have a link to all of those. So James's video linked down below. There is just going to be a bunch of videos and channels down there. So there we go. Okay, now on to this topic of the week, which is, as I just mentioned, dedicated to the Budget of Sigmar December review. The Budget of Sigmar is our escalation collection as part of the PMP Google Plus community, the Painters Motivating Painters. And month 3 was December. That is behind us now, quite a bit in the rear view, but unfortunately due to other commitments and things I had planned up in the holidays, I didn't get a chance to do this before now. So I apologize, but I did not forget. And so now we are going to go through, review everyone's pledges in the standard slapdash format that I have decided is the way I do this. So if anybody ever has any better ideas of how they want me to review this, hey, I'm more than willing to take advice. But for now, this is how it's going to be. So here we go. For me, let's go right over here. For you, I don't think you have to look in a different direction at all. Keep staring at your screen. But I'm going to screen share up, and we're going to look at everybody's submissions for the month of December for the budget of Sigmar. If you're interested in getting involved, we only have 3 months left, but you could still meet the sort of minimum we're trying to get at, which is 30 models and 100 wounds at $50 a month. So you'd only have half the total budget, but you could still do it. I will, of course, list the link for the PMP community down below. You can join up there and find all the information on it. Okay, let's take a look at some models. All right. I'm going to screen share here. And we'll jump over to our PMP. Okay, so we go way, way back to December 1st. Oh, it was so long. Last year, a time forgotten. And we'll start off with Stu Gibson, who is setting up his pledge here. And he wanted to do 20 Blood Reavers and the Blood Secrator from the AOS starter box. So you can see here we've already got some basing. He's put him up on a rock. I like that. Cut out the little thing that he's standing on and gave him a much bigger platform. Got the Blood Reavers here. Great models. I love these dudes. I love how they're hitting the gym. All these corn dudes. They got some. They're clearly, they do not skip either leg or arm day. What I want to comment here on Stu that I think is really cool is he switched out the head. I fully support this. I think this is one of the head is one of the weakest heads in the starter box of all the new Age of Sigmar models. I just think it's terrible. And I did the same thing on mine, not for this exact head, but I swapped it out, and I'm glad to see he did here, and it looks great. That looks so much better. Fantastic corn head. So great choice there, Stu. Okay, so we'll see how he progresses as we continue on. My co-host from Warhammer Weekly, Tom, with his pledge, which is for gyrocopters and a whole bunch of dwarves, some war machines, and a bunch of quarrelers. I think that's what the ones with crossbows are called. Let's assume that's correct. And again, I always try not to know anything about stunties, but here we are. Tom, you can see he loves the spray priming in silver. Always a good time saver if you've got models that are primarily one color to pick your army painter spray paint color of choice and go all over the model. And then you're just basically painting the color on top. And you can actually use the primer to your advantage. Always a fun thing there. All right, now I know Tom has been busily painting. I do not think he finished this by the end of the month, but he did get a lot of good work done. Let's move on. All right, James Squires, the aforementioned James from Star Mini Gaming. This is actually the finish up of his November pledge, which was for Vlad, which is loading oh so nice and slow. There we go. So there's Vlad. You know, and I've commented before when I've seen other people paint this model. James, you did a fine job with it. I hate this model. This is a very nice paint job on a terrible model. So I mean, there's not much I can say. Vlad is the coolest guy in Warhammer. He was the coolest dude in End Times, and it's just a shame that he still got this old garbage, out of date model. It's yeah, there we are. Well done on doing the best you could. Okay. In the same way, Easton T is finishing up his November pledge here, and he mentions that he did some zenithal highlighting for the first time. I love these guys. Very bright, colorful Kreuger here. Just insanely, ridiculously bright and colorful. And Easton has been doing this with his basing, where he has just taken it to the next level with this crazy, like, fish tank terrain, jungle plants, which are just awesome and hilarious. I love how big and overgrown and ridiculous they are. I think it's just fantastic. And the Lizardmen are one of the few armies where you can really just get away with this and have it look great, because it itself is basically a Skittles army full of all of the different colors. So great finish of the November pledge there. All right. Matt Goodacre, and he had finished up. We saw the little bit of this last month, where he had sort of converted out a Nerdling Chaos Spawn. I thought that was a very nice, gross thing there, so we can see that. What's with the teeth there, Matt? Come on, we got to get that picked out. We got some black primer. Let's get some teeth on there. But other than that, great conversion and wonderful use of all the gross nerdly colors. Can't stay on that one too long because it kind of grosses me out, not going to lie. All right. So Jase 25 with his budget of Sigmar pledge, which is some ogres. We got some big iron guts, got a iron blaster and a fire belly. So nice, definitely a nice haul for the month there with his budget. I believe he said he got all of these sort of secondhand, obviously. Some of them have some paint on them. Looks like he stripped some off. Yeah, that's a great find for that kind of thing. All of that for under the cost. Very well done. So we'll be interested to see how that progresses. All right. Also, here we've got William Page, or a creative name to stand out. Will, I'm not saying that whole thing every time. I understand everybody is now changing their channel names, not to their real name, to their funny name, and that's fine. But unfortunately, Will, you are Will. So I'm going to keep calling you that. Or just creative. You tell me. The man formerly known as William Page, currently known as creative name to stand out. There you go. So he joined up, and he's adding some Khorne forces. He joined a little late last month, but he was still 4 months of pledge time, and I think it's great. He started working on the Blood Reavers here, so we can see them engaged with his Dark Elves. I for one am pulling for the forces of Khorne. Let me just say that I want to see them tear up some of the knife ears. But that's always my allegiances, so there you go. All right, moving on. So Matthew, with his pledge for this month, he picked up a pack of plague drones for £28. Not too bad, and leaving him 7. I know we'll see what he does with that £7 later in the month. But yeah, plague drones, definitely a great buy. Certainly a nice addition to the army. Again, more gross Nurgle stuff. My first finish for the last month, was my Sorcerer Lord on Manacor, which I'm really happy with how this guy came out. And all of the runes do mean words. I'll give anybody a bonus point who can tell me what they mean. You don't really have to try, but yes, those are Tzeentch runes. This was a sweet model. I managed to get it at a really good price. And yeah, I very much like how this guy came out. The Manacor is kind of a funny fig himself. Like, he's in this weird posture where he's kind of turned akimbo. But I felt like it's okay if he's standing on an icicle, because it looks like he's kind of slipping on the ice. So, but I do love the rider. I love the wings. It's a cool model. It just needs a little better posing. So yeah, there you go. Fun addition, and I've already got to use him in a game, so that was cool. Mr. Lee Mech Shop. And I'm gonna skip this for a moment because he has a couple as this progresses, but he's doing a Santa Claus Nurgle sleigh Chaos Chariot, and it's as gross and awful as you would imagine. And I know he's got some more pictures of it up here, so we're gonna actually jump ahead up to those other pictures. So we'll get to those in just a second. I'm not skipping you, Mr. Lee. It's awesome. I just wanted to see what it looks like once you got sort of the full thing green stuffed out. Stu had already burnt through his December pledge very fast, so he went ahead and added the Gorgorath as well, which was pretty awesome. And you can see here we got another head swap. Again, well done, Stu. Good choice. I support this. Interesting, unique head choice he's made here. I hate the weird little tiny head the Gorgorath has. I head swapped mine as well. So I think, Stu, you and I are on the same wavelength completely on head swaps. And I think this model just looks so much cooler when it doesn't have its weird tiny end of Beetlejuice, the movie head. Yeah. Okay. So Matthew John Goodacre's got for his birthday, he got a whole set of Putrid Blight Kings. So he basically got them for free. And he said, am I allowed to add that to my pledge? I said, and yeah, sure. The goal is less than $50, but I think it's fine to include it. You got it for free. If you can convince those around you to buy you hobby stuff, it seems like a good deal to me. So he added some Putrid Blight Kings on top of his plague drones. That's a heck of a month. All right, so let's take a look here at what Mr. Lee is doing, because this is pretty well along. So he's got his big Nurgle sleigh here. You can see he's taken the spiders from the Goblin Riders and converted them over to be these gross Nurgly spiders. We've got the Ogre standard here as the front of the sleigh. A lot of big, heavy conversions here with this is carved out. to make the sleigh itself. Lots of green stuff work. I mean, so much green stuff work all over the place here. Laying down some stuff on the base even with the cobblestones. I mean, this is just really impressive. And this is coming along. We're going to see a couple more additions because Mr. Lee is not done yet. This is one of those beautiful passion projects. All right. So Stephen Julian with his December pledge for the budget of Sigmar. And he built out some more Stormcast. And so he added an Empire cannon. I believe this right here is what he added. So he's got the Retributors, 2 of them with the Star Soul maces that he got off of, I think he just picked up the bits. Good choice. And then an Empire cannon. Always a good addition there to the, to the Stormcast. Lacking artillery. It's good of them to pick up some of the tricks of the old world. Looking good, Stephen. I think the one thing I'd like to see is I still need to see a little more tonal variation in the steel and in the gold. So I'd love to see, I feel like there's no wash there. Let's get a wash on that. Let's get a nice Nuln Oil on that steel. Maybe like either a Reichland Flesh Shade or a Seraphim Sepia or an Agrax Earth Shade, depending on the type of gold you want on that gold paint. And I think that would really do well to clear that out. Same thing with these hammers. You've got them down in this dark blue. I'd love to see either some light blue edging or something like that, just to make them look a little more alive and exciting than they are. Yeah, I feel like we've got a good base coat down here, but we need to take it up through our highlights to take it to the next level. Okay. All right. Eason T with his final November model. So we're here on December 14th, but that's okay, with his Bastiladon with the solar engine. And again, this is just fantastic. I love how he's lost amongst the foliage. You can barely see him. It's just absolutely great. I love the little bright blue skinks and how nice they are, even though they stand out. This is one of those examples where he did a nice job making the Bastiladon very neutral toned in that sort of orange, tan, yellowish color. And so it's kind of blending into the foliage almost. Whereas the skinks are this bright blue and really just kind of stand out as they're hanging on the side of it, ready to fire their big giant solar laser gun out of the shrubbery and burn the enemies of the Lizardmen. So yeah, that's great. And again, just wonderful, wonderful basing. I love it. And I'll say I really like the texture and coloration he's chosen for the Bastiladon as well. You can't really see it too much. Let's see if we can flip to a better picture here. Yeah. So you can see how he's really taken the Bastiladon itself and turned him into the sort of green and yellow, very neutral tone. There you go. You can kind of see his foot down there. And that really makes him blend in well. I love it. He's a little stealth Bastiladon. It's great. Okay. Jason Yarborough, this was his first month. He got started a little late, but that's okay. We had a couple people start in December. And his pledge was a bunch of ghouls, going for the big ghoul warband. And as we can see there, we've got a lot of different of the crypt ghouls around. And he said he's using the old ghouls from way back as his Necromancer, which I like very much. That would be this guy, I think. So those are great. We'll be interested to see how that comes along as he turns it into his Necromancer. All right. James, not really his budget of Sigmar, so I won't go too deep, but he was working on a Reaper Necromancer just to sort of help his force along. And I think that's perfectly okay and acceptable, to have, you can certainly supplement your budget of Sigmar with some other models, even, GW or otherwise. They're not counted at the end of the budget of Sigmar total and tally, but it's your army. You can add whatever, other figs you want. So when you have your final force that you get to play with, you can have some other things as well. All right. So now we can see Mr. Lee doing even some more work here. Let's see where he's at so far. So we can see the rider has been taken out because that guy didn't sit in there. He's got some Nerdling Elves around with their little hats. He's got some Christmas presents scattered around. All the little Nerdlings are bringing the gift of Grandfather Nurgle on their happy sleigh. There we go. You can see them on the back with their little funny puffball hats. I mean, really, this is just amazing conversion work. There you go. You can see he finished out the side of it. He's got Made the, you know, some organic green stuff down here. Just really fantastic. And you can see he's also gridded out the rest of the base for painting. And there it is now all together. We've got the presents. We've got the Nurglings with their puffy hats. Got the big, gross Nurgle spiders. And a nice base all ready to go. That's just a heck of an awesome model. All right. Daniel Felton with his budget of Sigmar. He's got the big, gross Forge World Nurgle frogs. I talked about these a lot in the PMP month-end review because they were also there. I think maybe these are using just a few too many colors that are too bright and pastel, but it could also just be to the models because he did this on Chaos Warriors too, and it looked actually quite good. So I think in the end, Daniel, it really is just these models. They're so pocky and they react weird with paint and create this very funny texture. I'm just not sure about them. It could be my personal sense of aesthetic. I mean, it's you made a very extremely bold choice, and I certainly respect that. Yeah, I just don't know about them. But heck, well, way to go. I mean, very good job getting them done. So that's pretty awesome. Matthew decided to add some bits out with his remaining $7 for just sort of future conversion to carry it over into the next month. So he bought some bits, which will get used over the rest of the budget of Sigmar. Good idea there, spending a little bit of extra cash to that way he can do some conversions as he progresses. My second model for the budget of Sigmar was my Lord on a disc, my Chaos Lord on disc. And this is a good example of how to fail at something. So this is my OSL. This is in the same blue as the rest of my Tzeentch army, but except it's dark and the fire glaive is, you know, casting light down upon him. And then as well, the fire trail behind is throwing light up. I mean, I don't have a back picture, I don't think. Or maybe I do. Let me see if I've got a picture directly from behind. There we go. So we can see where it's coming up from behind as well. And that's all fine. The model works. I really like the OSL effect. I think it functions. It makes him look a bit weird because he turns green, which is what would happen. That yellow light would turn that blue armor green. The issue with it is, and what ruins it, is I didn't project the OSL or the shadow down on the base. And that's a good lesson. If you're going to OSL, it has to be the whole model. You can't just partially do it. Like, that is to say, if you're going to go for something so stark like I'm doing here. Now, if you're just doing a tiny little glow off of, like, you know, a glowing gem on one shoulder and it's just casting a little bit of light, that's fine. Then you don't need to, like, cover everything. But if you're doing a big OSL where it's like some really bright point that is completely changing the light source, then it's got to be everything. You know, if you're meant to cast them up, because this guy's supposed to be basically in the dark, except for this light, right? It's not overwhelming an existing light source from above. This is the light source. And so it's a great example of how to fail because I just completely forgot and spaced on highlighting the base. But I will correct that. So there we go. I also got some Chaos Warriors done. There's the normal blue. As you can see, I very much regretted my basing scheme when I did these guys. They took quite a while to do all those ice bases, but they're done now. Yay. And those are probably all the Chaos Warriors I'll ever do. It's 18 of them. I figured that's enough. Maybe I'll do some more sometime, but that's all for the budget of Sigmar. Okay. Moving on. All right, so Eric Watana making some progress with his skeletal army. Moving along, we can see we've got one that's almost done here. The rest are nice and painted up in bone, looking like maybe they're going to get a wash and some painting. This one guy looks like he's pretty well along. So that's probably our end state there. Looks real nice. I like that. I also like that they're all Tomb King skeletons. Good choice. Much better than dirty, awful Vampire Count skeletons. All right, James Wilson with his budget of Sigmar for the month. And this is actually, I think, 2 months. He kind of rebased him. He's going for his the iron, I think it's the Iron Hands look, which I very much like this look. We talked about this in the PMP. I really like the steel and gold and red. I think that looks good. So yeah, it's very nice work there. We kind of gave some pointers there. What I would say about this one, I would challenge you, James, put something on that banner. I've done a lot of those Chaos Knight banners. A lot. Many much of those banners. And they're fun to sort of do some freehand on. So I'd say, you know, even if it's just a chaos symbol, you've got an example of it right above, or on all their shields, or on their helmets, or swords, or whatever. Just pick anything. Could be a skull, could be a chaos symbol, could be any rune you want to do of chaos, all that kind of stuff. But I would challenge you to try something like that. It can be fun, and it can really make the banner pop. So I'd say give that a shot. But I think they look really good. Like I said, I love the color scheme you picked here, and I think they look pretty darn cool. I even like how he extended the gray into the flesh tone, but with some slight purple in the horns. Okay. I'm not sure if that's actually Scott, or like, because it has a different name, but yeah, I think that's Scott R. The Velnorn. All right. Apparently his name changed. Everybody's name is changing, but either way, this was his completion of his November pledge, but finished just after Christmas, but that's okay. We've got his Sisters of the Thorn here, and his Eltharion on Griffin. I'm sure it's not actually Eltharion, but that's okay. Which is truly such a great model out of the Island of Blood. I love this model. I've cannibalized those wings for like 100 things, but I love the model. I think it's just great. Let's zoom in here a little. Okay, so looking really good. Very sort of classic color scheme on the deer, whatever they are, antelopes, deerlopes. We'll call them deerlopes. I like the blue. I like the blue to the white. I think this looks really good. I think you executed on it well. I think my two challenges to you would be, one, I'd like to see more highlighting differentiation on this green. It really just looks flat. Like there's not much going on there. And green has so many shades that you can play around with and really stretch. And two, that's an empty banner. And I want you to look at an empty banner like that and get excited, because that is your chance to just try something crazy. And the reality is that the Sister of the Thorn banner is a really good one for it, because it's this big flat surface. You don't have to account for bumps and, you know, shakes in the cloth and anything like that that can make it trickier to do freehand. You got a nice big flat surface. Perfect. So I'd say, you know, challenge yourself with that. I'd also like to see a little more on these bases here. I like the use of the water. That's great. I like a little bit of the grass. I'd just like to see maybe a little bit more pieces kind of scattered around here. Some moss, or mold, or, you know, kind of a, yeah, that kind of a little green flock. Not really grass, just that kind of a thing growing around the water. Because one would think if there really was this water, there would be life growing out of that. Like if you've got water, a little like moss and mildew follow right behind pretty fast. On the other hand, this guy I'd like to see, again, a little bit more maybe around here, but on the same flip side, I like how you've done the rock. Got some nice bush on here with a couple different types of flock and such there, so that looks great. Well done. And I very much like your color choice here on the Griffin, the blue and white. That's super exciting. And I like the wing tips. I think that's always a fun choice. One of the fun things about wings is there's about 80 million ways to paint them, and none of them are wrong. And so it's always fun to see how people decide to paint them. I like the blue tips. I think that looks good. All right. So Matt Goodacre finished up his Plague Drones. He said he won't get a chance to do the Blight Kings, which isn't too surprised. The Blight Kings are a complicated and detailed model. But man, he did a great job with these Plague Drones. Let's just take a look in here for a moment. Great mottled brown, gross skin tone. Good green fading on the edge of the wings. Really like that. And once again, as always, he continues to make the intestines and such pop with a nice bright pinky pink. I also like your edge coloring here, Matt, on the edge of this. That's nice. And we have a very active base, as he's had in a lot of his models. Got some rocks, and they've got stains and browns and greens worked into them. We got some dead grass all covered around. Fantastic. Well done. Great addition to the budget there of Sigmar. All right. The man formerly known as William Page, now known as creative name Standout, with his Blood Reavers, he managed to get finished up. I got a fuzzy picture for the back three. but he did manage to get some of the Blood Reavers done with their meat ripper, man ripper axes or whatever they're called. So that's good. That's okay. There's still plenty of time in the month to come, so we'll see how he progresses with that. Matt has a nice image of what he's completed so far for his budget of Sigmar. Nice collection going. He's got his converted piggy and a couple characters, some his plague drones we just saw, the big sweet skull grinder from last month, and of course some plague bearers. So that's really his grotesque Nurgle force is really coming together. Finally, Scott Thelnorn 1 with his, hopefully we got some more shots here. Let me turn to a new angle. There we go. With the Blood Rack Medusa. Truly one of my favorite models that GW's ever done. I converted one of these over and used it as my Slaanesh Demon Princess. I think she's just a fantastic model. See, this is more what I was talking about here. So this is good. We've got some more on the base, more grass. That's good. I like that. I love her sitting in this gross fetid lake. I think my only comment here would be I'm not sure about the color variation, the way we've done it down here on her tail. Because it's messy, right? Like I can see this blue, very clear paint line. Same with the red. I get what we're going for here, the kind of snake stripes. If we were going to do this, I would like to see this be, glaze this over or make the edges more of a straight line or something like that. You can kind of see places where the paint skipped here. It's tough because you want to run this down. And really what you then need to do is kind of glaze that purple back over it to smooth the edges or run some purple over the very edge to kind of a thin purple to kind of layer it. That being said, well done. And yeah, great addition to the force and truly an awesome model. I love that model. And I think, let's see. Oh, no, we still got some more. Okay. One more. Rasmus's December pledge, which is his Demigryphs or Wolf Riders for his Ulrich-themed army with all he's got some Kislev forces and some old out-of-print GW. And then we got these guys, his custom Demigryphs that are on the big, I don't know exact, Fenrinzian wolves. I don't know how you say it, but man, these are awesome. I love this Rasmus. These are really cool. And I like that he's done all three of the wolves in their own little distinct color pattern. They're not just the same three wolves. I especially like the gray and white one up front. I think that's very fun. Let's see if we can get some other angles here. As usual, Rasmus, we got to get you a photo booth, buddy. Let me tell you what. This is a good example of what I'm talking about. He had this big open banner space, and so he threw the big snowflake on there. And that isn't complicated freehand, but if you ask me, that looks great, right? Like he had a design, he had a concept doing the snowflake, drew it out, and just look how much more exciting that banner is. Imagine if that wasn't there and that was just flat navy, right? That would be very boring. But instead, he livened it right up with that big snowflake. I love it. I also want to say, let's see if we can get another angle here. Around. I love this wolf. Love the way he's like leaping forward where he's attached his feet. There we go. He's attached his feet to the edge of this this rocky ledge. Got him kind of jumping out over an empty space. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love a model just jumping way off his base. That's fantastic. All right. And I think that actually brings us to the end of the month because then up from that, oh, nope, never mind. Okay, Neil Young. This was just as January, so there we go. But no, don't want to skip anybody. All right, Neil will be the final review. So Neil, he says he had some distractions, but he managed to finish up some Savage Orcs. There we go. Very bright green. Oh my goodness, that's some minty green orcs. They look good. I like your use of the blood for the blood god. I like the highlighting on the edge of the big stabba. I think what I'm seeing here, Neil, my only pushback is I want to see more variation in the orc flesh. A little too shiny. It's a little too samey. It doesn't really look like organic flesh. These guys look like they're made out of, like they're cut out of Jello. I love your green. I think that's good. Like, I love this color green on orcs. And you did a good job picking out the details. I like your bone color. I think these guys could use a nice heavy wash and then a relayer. And I think that would really add some depth to all these savages for sure. But yeah, well done. There we go. I like it very much. I'll be very interested to see what that ends up with at the end. Okay, so that then officially brings us to a close at the end of December. A lot of great movement there in everybody's pledges. I'll stop sharing. We'll go back to the regular camera. There we go. Hello, everybody. We're back. A lot of great work from all the budgeteers. Thank you to everybody who made a pledge and painted up for the budget of Sigmar. As you saw with Matt, where he took the full army shot, these are really starting to look like armies now, right? To look like forces, and that's really exciting. I know this was a little late, but being how far we are into the month, I know that already we've had a lot of really awesome submissions this month. So the big wheel keeps on turning, and this is month 4. So we have February and March left after this. There is still some time to join. It's going to be a little tough, but don't worry. If you missed out, it's okay. We're going to do another sort of budget type escalation thing after this. We're just going to do them in sort of, I suspect, kind of cycles. This has been a lot of fun. It sparked a lot of interest. I've seen a lot of people push themselves with their painting, which is awesome. I've seen a lot of people really get some great deals, which is also cool. Working within a budget constrains you, and sometimes you got to go out there and be real clever with how you snatch up your model. So that's always exciting. And so we're still talking about what we want to do for the next one after this one ends in March. But I will be very, very excited here in the next month, 2 months, to see how people are coming as we get down to the end. So we've rounded second base, okay, and now it's time to start. We're coming up to third. It's time to start heading for home. So I think this is really exciting. Can't wait to see everybody's armies. Thank you all very much for submitting. As I mentioned at the top, there will be many links down below where you can go check out last week's topic. You can go check out James, who was nice enough to pick up the topic of the week this week. I will link his vid. But for all of you who have watched this, who contributed, thank you very much. And as always, we'll see you next time.